Hello, you're watching Serious Political Discourse. I'm Steve Silvernagle. Tonight's guest is Matt Marino. And on this segment, we're going to discuss jails and drugs. So I am pro-drugs and I'm anti-jail. Matt, discuss.
Are you pro-drugs? Because on the commercial break, you were talking about how you believed in legalization of marijuana, but not other drugs. What I want to say as a libertarian, I believe all drugs should be on the table, as I believe that prostitution should be legal.
Well, as a flaming liberal infidel American, I agree that, we should have...
I just want to say, I love how you are married to labels. Instead of thinking as a true free American or as a free human.
I am pro-truth. And I think we can use the labels and explore them.
That's a nice little buzz word to use there.
What, truth?
Truth.
I don't think the truth is a buzz. I think the truth shouldn't be of the time or marketed, and I don't think we should have focus groups on telling us what is what I'm pro-truth.
Let's get back to the issues that you're not going to be able to answer.
So the reason I did say that, and Matt is right, he's not lying, is I say that we should have...
I'm glad you truly do love truth. Thank you for admitting that I wasn't lying.
I am. I don't know where all this ad hominem...
Well, you were lying about my book, which could be purchased on
Amazon and Etsy, and is available at the low price of what?
It's about $22.
$22, exactly. So Amazon and Etsy. However, I won't do a plug for it. I'm not going to say, go buy it now. It's available on Amazon and Etsy. I just won't do that. The show is above that. But I agree that I think we might have some overlap here in the Venn diagram of politics.
I hope so.
Because the libertarians say it's your body, do what you want. And I agree that if we legalized, say, marijuana or even a few other, narcotics, what happens is the crime rate goes down, and then taxes will go down.
Did the war on drugs succeed?
No, I agree that the war on drugs was an abysmal failure, and I wouldn't mind eventually reaching the Portugal approach of just saying, you know what, drugs it isn't a crime, it's a health issue, and offering health needs to those people as opposed to incarceration. And by doing so, we lower our taxes, we get rid of the crime rate, the crime associated with drugs, with gangbangers on the street, I think we get rid of that. And the Mexican cartels and immigration, if trying to smuggle these drugs, and then we create taxes, and by taxing it legally, we create income, we lower crime.
Are you in favor of Donald Trump's wall? Because you mentioned Mexican cartels and Mexican drug smugglers, and as a quote-unquote liberal, godless infidel heathen, are you a fan of the wall? Because you just said that Mexico was partially to blame for the drug crisis.
I think we do have some overlap, but here's what I will say.
You could answer the question.
I don't think we should treat the symptoms. I want to go for the source. And by legalizing marijuana, and maybe down the road eventually other drugs, then we can lower the crime rate over the border.
We've already seen in Colorado that legalization of marijuana has been a success, both in terms of revenue and criminalization.
Then why is the GOP so against it?
I'm not GOP. You keep trying to label me as a GOP
Libertarians caucus
contender.
with the GOP. That's why. And until they decide to go fully third party, I hate to say it, but I have to lump you in with them.
That's fine that you enjoy lumping in truths. But one quick question I still have for you. Do you support Donald Trump's wall?
No.
Then why would you then blame Mexicans for the drug dilemma?
I'm saying that his plan to build the wall, which A, Mexico's not going to pay for, but B, if we can treat the source of it and say, hey guys, by legalizing drugs, then we don't have to worry about them smuggling them over. Will you get rid of a crime rate by making more
That's
things
all drugs
legal?
then you agree with me, all drugs should be legal.
Eventually. Yes. But I'm saying because of hardliners that still want to keep up the legacy of Reagan and say, let's keep this war on drugs, they're not going to go for a Portugal plan and say, you know what, we should treat drug addiction as a health issue and not a criminal issue. But like I said, you caucus with those guys, and I want someone, maybe not in tonight's episode, but someone else to come over here and
as I already said in your
the rationale
A-block,
behind that.
Your A-block, as I believe it's called, and I know you have trouble remembering certain facts, but I don't label myself as anything specifically. For the sake of argument, I said I was a libertarian. That way you could keep track of the kind of pseudo-arguments you're attempting.
Maybe I'm going to fire the producer who was responsible for tonight's program, and because they gave me some bad data. So I would like to know, what is your plan regarding both immigration, all immigration, drugs, and jails?
Well, thank you for letting me discuss this in the remaining
Go
3
ahead.
minutes I have.
They're all yours.
Many topics, many issues. Well, I do believe that there should be a greater border patrol. I don't really believe in a wall because that's really not going to work. I believe there should be an adequate border patrol.
And will you say this to the GOP, who appears to be behind a front runner, who says not only this isn't just talk.
The GOP establishment is not behind Donald Trump, and that's common knowledge. So I don't understand what you're trying to plan. Your plan is with that statement.
All right, but regarding drugs, then where do you stand?
I've already stated that I believe every single drug should be relegated and legalized and treated like alcohol. More deaths are from cigarettes and alcohol than marijuana and even the harder drugs. You would stop so much crime if it was relegated. You'd know who's doing what. I mean, it's just a win-win. Also, all the revenue. There'll be new businesses. Look at Colorado. Look at Oregon. Every place that has legalized marijuana, new businesses. For millennials and young people out of college with the college debt, boom, they have created a new business that is untapped. It is a natural gold rush in the West right now because of legalization of marijuana. Just imagine if you were to bring crack cocaine and heroin and other kinds of drugs, psychedelics, into the mix. You relegate that, you make lots of money, you help everybody. And people abuse it, that's the prerogative because this is truly America, land of the free, home of the brave. Look at this. When GOP and GOP candidates and other conservatives talk about, you can't touch my guns. Guns are a right. Well, I think living your life the way you want to if you don't harm anyone. If you're a legal gun owner and you're not going to harm anyone, you should be able to have a gun. Just like if you're not going to harm anyone with your drugs, you should be able to do drugs. That is my argument. Just like I've already mentioned slightly, I believe prostitution should be legal. I know I'm not supposed to talk about that, but it should be. Just because.
But moving back to drugs for a moment.
Like in Nevada, it's a success.
Moving
Montreal,
back to drugs for the moment, and now personally, I agree.
Also, the incarceration rate.
Yes.
Would go down dramatically. I also believe we should close privatized prisons, which I think you'll agree with, because that is preying on the less fortunate and also the people who have committed certain crimes. But they've committed crimes based on a broken system that say drugs are criminal offenses when they're not. They're personal decisions. Now, if you were selling vast amounts of drugs to children under the age of 5, obviously you have some sort of moral compass issue.
Now, hopefully one day I can get a strong hardline Republican who, for some reason, isn't using the capitalist approach to drugs. And I agree with you. And I just wish.
What is wrong with the capitalist approach if it actually works to help the?
But just to play devil's advocate for a second, isn't that a slippery slope? Because you say yes, drugs are okay. Yes, coke and heroin and angel dust.
I said crack cocaine.
So what I'm saying is, if it's fine for 18-year-olds and to show
I never said 18.
No, but for adults.
I would use the alcohol
As
model.
a libertarian, as consenting adults, you say, hey guys, it's your body. You're not hurting anyone else. Just have at it. But then what happens for the 17-year-old who sees this behavior? Or the 16-year-old? Or 15, 14, 13?
I have a question.
So then, do you want to live in a world, as devil's advocate, where 5-year-olds can see on the media and just entertainment all this? And
Are there commercials for cigarettes on television?
Not anymore. No.
Exactly. We're not going to have commercials saying, "Hey, let's go smoke some crack rock."
But it'll be part of
Let
the
me say one thing.
Discourse.
That's fine.
If you have
I'm
people
going to
on
answer your question.
C-SPAN
I'm going to answer
mention
your
this.
question.
Go on.
Who watches C-SPAN? I'm going to answer your question.
I will say, who watches C-SPAN? Americans who care about politics and the state of this country.
We have 5 seconds. Thank you for letting me answer my question. You're
watching Serious
host.
Political Discourse. We'll be right back.